Letting the chickens out this morning. Standing in the field that we need to clean up before spring. So this field back here is full of locust trees, which again I showed this before, but here's those nasty thorns on these trees are horrible. So we need to clean this area up. There's hedge too, which I'm less worried about. It's got small thorns, but usually once the tree gets matured, it's not a problem. But these locust trees, they're nothing but big, nasty, gnarly thorns. And they get in the animals' feet. You can see they fall on the ground and get them in their hooves and their feet. So we pulled several out of our dog's feet already. They also flatten your tires and stuff. So I'm going to come through here and clean all the locust trees out, stack them up and burn them. And then we got to fence in this area because our goal is to add some more animals here pretty soon.
We are going to be gathering some T-posts from around the farm for some fences. Like you can see here, there's a big tree that fell on this a long time ago. So we're going to come through and take out several of the T-posts so we can use it when we do the fencing where the goats are going to be.
So we're trying to figure out our fencing, and I went through on Google Maps, and you can do a measurement on there. So if you ever need to know how much fencing or things you need, you can go to Google Maps, you right click, go to measure distance, and then you can pretty much mark out how far you want the distance, or your layout of your lane and things like that. And we need, 160 fence posts.
Yeah.
And 4 gates. And all the miscellaneous parts and hardware and things like that. So that's going to be a project. And I still got to cut down a bunch of trees. We have existing fence lines that need to be cleaned up so the goats we get or animals we get don't get tangled up in old fencing.
Well, get to work, you lazy bum.
So we got out about probably 40 T-posts from around the property. And the goal here, I've got to come through now and cut down a lot of these branches that are hanging over, a lot of the ones that are in the way, and then we're going to put a fence right through here, and we're going to abandon the old fence that we're taking the T-post out of.
To work on the fences. We're going to be taking out this road today, but I wanted to show you, I think Valerie had my camera and Tim had his, but they were recording when I was pulling those T-posts out. See these thorns? This is kind of what I was standing in, so if you see me not moving very quickly, that's what I was working in. Tim did go through yesterday and he brush hogged along the fence row on the opposite side. So it'll be a lot easier to get this out. Most of it is barbed wire. We'll take out as much as we can. There are some that have grown into trees. Look at how this tree is growing around this piece of fence. You can pull it right out. Isn't that crazy? So that'll come out okay. Down lower, it has grown into the fence. The whole bottom area I'll have to cut out and just leave it.
So this tree is probably 36 inches around or so. So it's probably a 100-year-old tree. and this wire is running right through the middle of it. So this wire, there's another one right there, going right through the middle of that knot. There's another one right there. And that one's like 5 feet off the ground. So this tree has been here with wires through it for at least 100 years, I would guess. A big old tree. Wondering how much poison ivy I've got now. But I got pretty much, I mean, all the wires out. There's some wires way down at the end there that's still wrapped up in a tree that I missed and need to cut out still. But for the most part, previous to this, it was just a little walkway coming through here. Now that Mini X with the claw on it works great. You just pick stuff up and move it right out of the way. So all the way down there, probably a good, well, I don't know, 300 feet or so is all cleaned out. Still too wet to push any dirt over there. I've got that big pile there in the distance still to move, but it's even too wet to do that right now. So can't do drywall right now. I'm waiting for those guys to get their stuff. You know, everything's done there. They held me off till next week. We're supposed to be here today. Now they're looking at Monday. So I'll play around outside in the woods. It's fine with me.
What did you do? What did you do? You tired? Tim had fun today. So this area, this is the big hedge that we call our pointing tree, because one of the branches goes out like an arm. And I've never seen a hedge that big. But we're keeping it, obviously. It's really cool looking. Anyway, but look how much Tim has cleaned up, which is really, really impressive. And this is how I know he loves me. What are you doing, honey?
Just working.
Just working? But what are you doing?
Just moving this tile over that.
Why?
Because you told me I crushed your flowers.
You did. He crushed my flowers. This was like a kind of a corner heading down, so I planted some bulbs along there.
See, the problem is the failure to communicate. Because now they ran around several times and just planted flowers everywhere.
Is that going to change?
Yeah.
True.
Here, I can stand it.
Oh, okay.
I don't see a third one.
That is the third one. That's the only one. It's okay now. There you go. Yay! Ta-da!
Man of the year. So I finished up one of the rows. I'm not sure where the girls are. I'm sure they were building a fort yesterday, so they're probably out working on that. Well, I asked them to help me with the fence, but it's good that they play. So I've got that whole fence torn out, although there's a lot of cleanup to do through there. That's part of the reason why we're pushing our fence out a little bit, and we're not going to run it along the existing fence line or even here on the inside. We're pushing it to the outside because it's a little bit more manicured, just because of having the crops through here and everything. So I do have quite a bit of trees to trim up, but basically straight ahead, straight right through there is where the new fence line is going to go. That way I limit the amount of trees I need to take out. I'll get on the skid steer later and push all that up. But I got it pretty much down to this south corner. Here's our good example of why we're coming out away from the old tree line. Is a new row is going to come right down through this clean area here, not quite in the crops, but just about 10 foot off. that we're not messing around with anything. The only concern I have, of course, if we get a storm and these old trees fall on the fence, I'm sure that's going to happen regardless of where we put it. But I've already brush hogged through here and cleaned this up a bit, so it's pretty much ready to go for the most part. So my strategy on this fence is find a spot in the center where I want to pull from, and then basically grab it and start backing up, and it just starts ripping things off. But I come down to either side. You can see this massive tree here, and how old everything is. That's right in the center of this tree, and this is a big darn tree. Now here's that's probably 18 inches is that sawzall, so it's probably a good 3 foot or more round tree. See, here's this big wire through there also. So I'm not getting that wire out. What I'm doing is just coming down and cutting it where it goes into the tree at. And then I feel sorry for whoever comes through with the chainsaw, tries to cut that up later. It's maybe me. And then I'll go through and cut all these off too that are holding onto the post, and then just rip it out. So I'll go down pretty good distance on the other side so I can get a nice piece, and then I'll ball it up with the mini hex. Just take the claw and keep rolling it and balling it. The fence rows cleared up, or taken out. Now he's working on getting some of the small pieces that I missed. I'm going to start cleaning out this pasture area. So most of these small trees in here are locust trees, and there is a bunch. So my plan is to go through with the mini. Since they're small, I can just pop them up and then pile them up and get ready to burn them.
Man, I am wiped out. I'm almost done for today. That is a pile of barbed wire that is about as tall as I am, and Tim's already compacted it several times down.
About 5 o'clock, I'm done. My mini was giving me problems, and gone ahead and worked up several more piles of dirt here to get hauled over. Probably do that maybe tomorrow. Definitely at least halfway, if not a little beyond now, so I can get that taken care of. But the mini's giving me problems. It's dying. I had this problem last year too, and they fixed it in the shop, at least for a good year. Now it's back doing the same thing. I don't know if it's a fuel filter or something else, but I really hope that doesn't set me back, a week, because I've got stuff to do. I need the mini to be able to pull out rocks from when I'm digging the septic tank. So I've been working hard.
Oh my God, I just sat down. I have so
Hey, what are you doing?
I heard.
I
Actually just am videotaping because I just did this row, and some of it I can't do.
Ah.
Yeah. There's a bed spring. There's a mattress
Oh,
springs
I
that they
picked
use
one
for
up earlier
fencing,
too
yeah.
from behind the shed or
So,
behind the barn.
I cut out a lot of it. I made your pile of barbed wire bigger.
Oh.
And pulled out some old hedge posts. So, literally just sat down.
Came out in the south field. There's this little deer out there. Looks like a baby. He's just been walking right towards me.